Good morning, everyone. In this video, we're going to start with chapter 7. In Teams, I already also put an assignment, which is basically a homework check of paragraph 5. I think I wrote down which exercise you have to hand in. It will either be sufficient or insufficient. If it is sufficient, I will give you your mark for chapter 6. Otherwise, it will be postponed. But that's something for tomorrow. In this video, we're going to start with chapter 7, and tomorrow we're going to work with some sort of an online program which will help us in chapter 7. But to prepare you for that, I wanted to make this introduction video, which is basically in which I'm basically talking about the things which are also need prior knowledge. In chapter 1 of this year, we looked at two different algebraic laws. This was one of them, A and B plus C equals something. And if you had one pair of brackets, you could remove them by multiplying A with B and A with C, with AB plus AC. Most of you prefer this with numbers and letters. So for example, we have this expression. You can also say that it's 2 times x, which is 2x, plus 6. In paragraph 7.2, we're basically going to do the opposite thing of this. Going from the right side to the left side. Instead of removing brackets, we're going to add them. Why would that be helpful? Because so far we've usually only removed them. We'll see. Another law was B times C plus D. And then you had that thing which looked like a parrot beak or crab hand or whatever you thought it looked like. Yeah. So A times C, A times D, B times C, and B times D. And usually you got something like this with x plus 2, and for example x minus 3. And then you had to multiply everything. So like x times x was x squared. X times minus 3 was minus 3x. 2 times x was plus 2x. And 2 times minus 3 is minus 6. Then you have to check, are there any like terms? In this case, there are. Minus 3x plus 2x. Minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1, so this is x squared minus x minus 6. And maybe you can already figure it out. If you want to go from x squared minus x minus 6 to this expression with 2 pairs of brackets, it's a lot harder than making this step. So this will basically be in paragraph 3 and 4. You will see we will call this the product sum method, but that's something for later on. So that's basically the first part of this introduction. In the second part, we're going to look at solving equations. And so far you've had quadratic equations of the form x squared equals c. And if you didn't have that form, you had to work towards it. And that was, so far, it was always possible. In this chapter you will see that you will encounter 2 different forms. You will also encounter x squared, ax squared plus bx equals 0, and ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So these 2 forms, at the end of this chapter you will hopefully be able to solve those as well. So let's first look at this one, because this is the one you've already had in chapter 5. For example, if you had x squared equals 25, then you have to find a number which, if you multiply it with itself, because you're taking a square, you have to find 25. And whenever you wanted to find that number, you had to take the square root, because the square root and squaring a number are basically opposite things. So in this case, I'm not sure if you can read this, x equals 5 or x equals minus 5. this was one of those nice numbers, but sometimes you could have had something like x squared equals 8. If you take the square root of 8, you don't get one of those nice numbers, or a nice whole number. You would get something like x is the square root of 8, or x is minus the square root of 8. And then I told you weren't even allowed to give those answers because you had to simplify them. The square root of 8 is the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. Same goes for the other one, minus the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. Why did we take this step? Because the square root of 4 was 2. That was a nice number. So this was 2 times the square root of 2, or x was minus 2 times the square root of 2. And then we made things even harder. We have exercise like 2x squared, 3x squared plus 1 is, let's make sure that this will be, if we had an equation like this, you had to use the balance method from chapter 3 to make sure that all the numbers were on the right side. So we had to subtract 1 on both sides. 3x squared equals x squared plus 32. Then you had to move all the squares to the other side, so we're subtracting 1x squared. 3x squared minus 1x squared is 2x squared. 32. Then you had to divide with 2. So slowly but surely you're working towards this form of x squared equals something. In this case it's 16. So x is 4, or x is minus 4. This is something you'll see a lot. This chapter will focus mainly on those two forms, but this will also sometimes be there.